Hey, everybody. How you doing? Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Mother's Day. Speaking of mothers, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Bottalico on Post Day Live. What's up, Bobo? How was your weekend?
My weekend was all right. I wasn't able to see my mom, but, calls, texts, but that's just the way life is, right?
Well, you didn't drive up to Connecticut to sit on her deck or, wave to her? It's Mother's Day.
I kind of can't. I don't know if I told you, my brother has the coronavirus.
No.
And my parents.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, my parents were in contact with him. He was diagnosed about 9 days ago now.
And how's he doing?
He's doing okay. I mean, nothing. He's obviously going through symptoms, but he's kind of fighting it. So everybody that was in contact is more or less quarantined.
Yeah.
So
I see.
My parents had been in contact, so.
Got it. We have a special guest, Ricky Bo. I'm going to bring this person on in a moment, and we're very excited.
Who could it be?
We're very excited to have this person. But before we bring this person on, I'm not giving gender away. Could be a guy, could be a girl, could be a girl, could be a guy. What do you think is going to happen with baseball? And I read an article just before we came on, and it said basically that 6 weeks ago, MLB's owners and players negotiated a deal, and now the owners want to go back on it. And this is according to Sports Illustrated. And so the owners now all of a sudden want a 50-50 revenue on an 82-game season. And our friend Scott Boras, agent to the Stars, is saying, I am urging the players to not accept this deal. We already had a deal. So as if the coronavirus isn't bad enough, as if playing games with no fans in the stands isn't bad enough, they might not be able to come to a deal. What do you think?
You better be able to come to a deal. You really have to be able to stop focusing on yourselves at this point in time. This is not, I think you and I have had this conversation. This is not just about baseball. This is about morale, boosting morale around the country. If these guys get back on the field, number one, it only helps baseball in the long run. The more baseball that gets shown live, and I'm not talking about South Korea baseball, I'm talking about Major League Baseball here. Once it gets shown live, how many people are going to fall back in love with the game? Or maybe kids that hadn't really gotten on that bandwagon, they might say, you know what, hey, it's live TV, let's see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, maybe the sports will kick in and maybe their fan base grows. I don't think this should just be about money and, okay, this is what the owners want, this is what the players want. Figure it out, guys. That is the bottom line. Figure it out and don't be – you know what? The whole stubbornness has to get thrown out the window from both sides.
Yep, because as you said, America needs it. All right, we need a morale boost ourselves right now, so let us welcome our mystery caller, ladies and gentlemen, from NBC Sports Philadelphia, the Ice Side reporter for the Philadelphia Flyers broadcast, Taryn Hatcher, joining us. What's up, Hatchie? How you doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're doing good.
Aloha, Taryn.
Aloha. Somebody asked if I was in Hawaii. I'm not. I'm in Philly. I'm just surrounded by Hawaii.
She still does it correctly.
What?
But you did work in Hawaii for a while. How difficult was it to leave Hawaii?
Well, Philly's home. I can't imagine if Philly wasn't home. That would be such a difficult transition because Hawaii was so great. Honestly, if I wasn't going anywhere but home, it would have been really, really hard. But I love being home. It's now like I want to bring all my friends from here back to Hawaii with me.
What a place.
So,
That
really is heaven on earth.
I used to live right off the poster, right over there, if it extended.
That's Diamond Head, right? Is that Diamond Head?
That is Diamond Head. I used to live in Manoa Valley.
Looks awfully pale over there.
Looks pale?
Yeah, where you live looks very pale.
Oh, yeah, that's because they don't sell posters of the beautiful valley that I called home.
Taryn, what have you been up to during this quarantine?
I've been working, man. I've been working.
Okay, we understand that. And is that it? You just work, go to bed, you wake up, you work?
No. Although I don't do much. Like, I won't lie. It's not like I tweeted something out the other day, and it's really like the vibe of what this whole thing has been for me. I don't want to learn a new hobby. I'm not joining a virtual book club. I want to learn how to pick up a crouton with a fork when I eat salad. That is the only thing I want to learn.
Stab it.
Very deep.
It's been like I try to get a workout in. I think like most people, first couple weeks of quarantine, I was just like not eating healthy, and we never have weekends off with our friends usually in the sports world. You guys know this. And so it's lots of like virtual happy hour Zooms with my friends. And then recently it's been like, all right, reel it in and work out again, getting good routines. And so that's what the last couple weeks have been like for me. But yeah, it's not much. Went to go see my mom and my dad yesterday, and my dog.
Nice.
Michael bought a bidet.
Yeah, I did bring a bidet. I did buy a bidet. It's phenomenal.
Not a joke. He bought a bidet.
And I'm singing to the stars about it. I would urge everybody to do the same.
You know what? We in the hotel that we stayed in Montreal, there is a bidet that has like 8 functions. Like you don't even know why it has all these functions. And it is everyone's favorite hotel on the road.
Right.
So more power to you, Michael.
Because of that, thank you very much, Tachi. I appreciate it. And Ricky Bobo is only saying that because he clogged up his commode last week. Yes. And so I told
this is what I miss, not being in the office. It's these deep conversations between friends who happen to be coworkers. Yes. This is what I miss.
You miss going to HR about Ricky. I understand.
No.
That is unfair,
I would never.
Michael, you would be first on that.
Not more than once. Not more than
once.
If
you went to HR about Ricky, I don't think they'd believe anything you told them because it'd be so like the truth is stranger than fiction with him.
All right, Taryn, real quick, because I always say about this little thing that Ricky and I do that we go for 8-9 minutes, feels like 90 minutes, but we try to keep it short. But we want to know from you, what have you heard about the NHL as the NBA? There are questions about whether it resumes baseball, whether it starts. What are you hearing, if anything, about the NHL?
So the last I heard, of course, a couple days ago, the big news story came out that there's word of a 24-team playoff with the best of 3 series to play into the playoffs for those bubble teams and trying to get back to it and get running right away. And Bettman has said multiple times that he will go to September if that's what it takes to crown a Stanley Cup champion. I've heard things about an early June callback and then a couple of weeks of camp. And then, but it's one of those things where if the news that day is different, then you hear something completely radically different 24 hours later. And it's very interesting because when I talked to Sean Couturier, he was just saying, my guess is most of the players feel this way, we don't just want a plan that looks at the next 4 months. We want a plan that figures out what the next entire season and postseason looks like, because a lot of them are actually like not taking this time like a true off season because you can't. They could call you tomorrow and say you have to come back. So they're working out the best they can. And
what happens if they crown a champion in September, Taryn? What happens to the next season? Does it start on time?
That's the question. I don't think you could crown a champion in September and then start the next season right away because you'd have such a brief break before you would go into true like preseason games and all of that anyway. So there's no world in which I see that happening. But the question is with the 24-team playoff and the potential 4 bubble cities that they've talked about, will the playoffs take that long because you don't have everyone traveling all the time? And, even with the broadcasting windows, like if they put it in the Olympic window, would you have more games per day and would it go faster? Because, all of this is really part of it, which is bizarre because most of the time we think about it on the broadcast side of things, but I think most other people don't really think about it. So there's a lot of moving parts, which is the really difficult part about trying to figure out what's going to happen. Yeah. But no, I know Kevin Hayes said he was a big fan of getting it done any way possible. And if it pushes into the next season, then just playing a 70 or 72 game season next year and pushing everything back to try to maintain the NHL timeline for future seasons. So you're not having super long-term impact.
Well, where do you catch up at that point? I understand what you're saying. You push it back. You start in November, December. Then you're going later on into the summer again, and it's a shortened off season again.
And that was Sean Couturier's concern. He was just like, we're all doing our part to stay in shape and be healthy. But the question is that the teams that don't play, so let's say the teams that don't make the playoffs at all, they don't even play into the playoffs. Those players will not have played potentially from March until, I don't know, October, November of next year. They are at such a disadvantage being off for that long. Whereas you also have other guys who will come in with an advantage, being that they've played recently. For all the players who do play in the postseason, they'll only have a brief off season, and then they're back to playing again. So arguably they'd be sharper. But then 2-3 months into the season, are those guys' bodies going to break down? That's a lot of hockey to play in a short amount of time with no off season. And that was the issue that Sean Couturier brought up to me, that I think especially when you're talking about these kind of high contact sports and with how fast and strong guys are nowadays, and I know they're not big, heavy hitters like hockey of yore, but it's still a super fast sport that's super physical. How many months consecutively can you really ask these guys to play and practice with no true downtime is, I think, part of their concern over there.
Yeah. Hey, Taryn, thanks for joining us. Before we let you go, Ricky Bo, we want to wrap this up, but I want to ask you both, Ricky, as Taryn knows, we have a conference call every morning for NBC Sports Philadelphia, and at the end, there's always a question posed to everybody or to one person, and they go person by person, and there's usually 40, 50 persons on this conference call every single morning. And today's question was, what has been your favorite food to eat during this quarantine? And also, what's been the silver lining? What's been the best part of all of this? Because it really has been a mess. But you go ahead, you start, Rick.
Ice cream. I love ice cream, man.
Bingo.
Which flavor?
I'm talking like a gallon at a time. I don't waste any time. Once I get into it, I just all the way to the bottom.
Which flavor, Rick?
Mint chocolate chip and moose tracks are my favorite.
I got that. I have that in the fridge right now. The mint chocolate chip.
Just crushed one today. Done.
Mm-hmm. What's the best part, Ricky, about being in this thing?
There is no.
Not.
Are you serious?
No silver lining. Well, I mean, for me, it's just being able to spend time with my family, and I've been blessed to have everybody home.
I haven't been able to see my daughters.
I know it's tough.
My daughter just had her 17th birthday. I can't see her. It sucks.
Yeah.
I have worse words if you want me to keep going.
Not yet. It's the internet, but okay. Taryn, you go ahead. Try it.
Well, how do I begin to follow that? It's truly the question, Michael. I started cooking a lot more. But there's really only one thing that I've gotten better at cooking, and it's kind of like this kind of scampi that you can cook anything in. So that's what I've been eating that I like, because truthfully, it's like the only thing I'm good at cooking.
Lemon, butter.
What?
Garlic, lemon, and butter you've been working with.
No. I caramelize the onions, and I do less butter, a little bit of olive oil. And then once the onions are fully caramelized, then you add the garlic so you don't burn it. And then you add your broccoli or your shrimp or your rice, or you cook salmon, then you put it over the salmon. Ricky, I've really diversified this. And I'll cook it, and I'll put mushrooms in it and broccoli, and then I'll put it in an omelet and eat an omelet too. Listen.
I like omelets.
One thing I had to master, that's it. But yeah, my favorite thing about quarantine has been butter and garlic and onions, yes. Or to eat, at least.
Okay, to eat. What about the silver lining? Ricky says there is none, and I understand it when you can't see your daughters. Is there anything you say, I'm looking at the upside and that you would take from this?
You know what? It's actually been, it sounds bizarre because we're not in work and it's not a 9 to 5, but it's been kind of nice to establish like a 9 to 5 schedule, because I haven't had one since high school. When I was in college, I went to school and worked and interned, and then I went to Hawaii. And when you're first going, you're a one-man band, you're doing everything, you're working all the time. And so it's been nice to be able to like go home, wake up early, get your day started, whatever. I like it, but I've also been fortunate enough to be able to like go home and sit in the backyard 10 feet apart with my parents, or, I live with 3 of my childhood friends, and 2 of them are nurses at Penn. So they come home and they tell me about their day, and I'm just like, yeah, this is easy cruising compared to everything over there. But it's been nice because I get to eat dinner with my friends at the end of the day. We eat dinner at work at our little pods. So it's nice to be able to have that more normal routine, I think.
All right. We got to go. That is Post Day Live, the daily recap. And Taryn Hatcher, great to see you. Stay happy. Thanks so much for joining us. Ricky Bobo, I'll see you tomorrow, my friend.